Summer, 1868. In a small farming settlement outside Sedalia, Missouri, a 9-year-old girl named Eliza Harper became the center of a mystery that would haunt the community for months. Eliza was small, pale-skinned, with short, cropped hair. Polite, quiet. She never complained, she never cried, but there was something in her eyes, blue and unblinking, that unsettled anyone who met her. Dr. Nathaniel Reeves, the only formally trained physician in the area, first encountered her in June. He later wrote in his journal, "I have treated soldiers maimed by war, but nothing disturbed me like the way that child observed me. It was as if I were the patient, not her." At first glance, she seemed harmless. She said, "Yes, ma'am," and "Yes, sir," at every command. She performed chores tirelessly, showing no fatigue, no playful interruptions, no emotion, just quiet, mechanical obedience. Then the accidents began. The first was little Annie Miller, found drowned in a shallow creek. Eliza was the first to alert the family, her clothes damp, her expression calm, almost clinical. 3 weeks later, an elderly beekeeper, Henrik Larson, was discovered dead at the base of Devil's Bluff. Once again, Eliza had been present. She explained he may have been stung by bees, yet something about the scene unnerved Dr. Reeves. The bees were unusually concentrated around the body, yet the hive showed no signs of disturbance. A few weeks later, 6-year-old Jacob Mills disappeared near the woods, only to be found 4 days later at the bottom of an abandoned well. Eliza had helped search tirelessly, guiding adults through difficult terrain, locating the child, though Jacob would not survive. Dr. Reeves observed Eliza carefully. She watched every death, every body, every moment with unfathomable detachment. At funerals, while others wept, she would sit quietly, taking in every detail. Neighbors noticed something else. Animals reacted strangely to her presence. Chickens shrieked and scattered, dogs cowered, horses became skittish. It was as if the local wildlife sensed something in her humans could not. By autumn, Dr. Reeves began recording every observation. Eliza's fascination with death and injury went far beyond normal childhood curiosity. She asked detailed questions about wounds, survival, and the mechanics of dying. Always calm, always precise, almost scholarly. "How long does it take to die?" she once asked, her gaze fixed, polite yet chilling. By now, it was clear. Eliza Harper was not a typical child. By October 1868, Dr. Reeves had gained more access to the Harper household. Eliza's aunt and uncle were occupied with the farm, giving the doctor a chance to observe her closely. What he discovered was chilling. Eliza had been conducting experiments on living creatures. Rabbits, squirrels, birds. She studied them, documenting their reactions to injury with a precision that would rival any medical student. She sketched diagrams, annotated every movement, every twitch, every sign of distress. Dr. Reeves wrote, "I have seen cruelty in men hardened by war, but this child's methodical observations were beyond comprehension. She approached death like a scientist, detached, calculating, calm." The accidents on neighboring farms suddenly made sense. Chickens found dead with broken necks, pigs and calves suffering injuries that made no natural sense, all within walking distance of the Harper farm, and often Eliza had been present. Neighbors began to whisper. Eleanor Patterson, whose farm bordered the Harpers, noted, "The animals act strange when she's near. They know, They know something we don't. Eliza's knowledge of anatomy was disturbing. She could identify the exact points where a bird or rabbit would die most efficiently. She had asked Dr. Reeves questions that no child should even consider. How long before someone bleeds out if their arm is cut like this? Do they scream, or is it silent? Her calm, polite voice made the questions all the more terrifying. Dr. Reeves decided to test her understanding. He told her false medical facts, claimed certain injuries were fatal when they were not. She listened carefully, filed every detail, never contradicting, yet absorbing everything. By November, the doctor had filled nearly 2 journals with his observations. He documented her methodical cruelty, the complete absence of empathy, and the unnerving way she seemed to study human suffering as one might study a specimen. And then came the drawings of humans. Where once she had sketched animals, now she drew people. Annie Miller, Henrik Larsson, Jacob Mills. Every drawing annotated with chilling detail. Reactions to injury, time until death, methods of causing harm. Eliza Harper was no longer just a girl in a small Missouri town. She was the center of a pattern of death, and she knew it. By winter 1868, Dr. Reeves had discovered a secret place where Eliza spent hours alone. A small, hidden cave on the edge of the Harper property. Inside, he found a horrifying collection. Animal bones meticulously arranged, crude surgical instruments made from farm tools, detailed sketches of experiments. The drawings were precise, almost artistic, showing rabbits, squirrels, birds, and even larger animals undergoing various procedures. Each sketch included notes on reactions, time to death, and methods of causing pain. It was methodical, it was calculated, and worst of all, it showed a mind studying cruelty for curiosity, not necessity. The doctor realized the earlier accidents weren't accidents at all. Chickens, pigs, calves, even the deaths of Annie Miller, Henrik Larsson, and Jacob Mills, all may have been experiments. Eliza's expression when Dr. Reeves confronted her was calm, unnervingly so. She didn't panic, she didn't cry. She simply nodded, as if confirming what he had already suspected. "You won't tell anyone," she said quietly. When asked why, she replied, "No one would believe you, and you're curious about what I'll do next." Her words weren't boastful, they were matter-of-fact, cold, calculated. Dr. Reeves now understood the danger. Eliza Harper was intelligent, deliberate, and unbound by morality or fear. She had studied life and death since she was 5, moving from insects to small animals to humans, and she had a plan. The doctor feared for the lives of her aunt and uncle, the only adults who supervised her daily. He realized that if he did nothing, the child could escalate her experiments, potentially on humans she knew personally. From that point on, Dr. Reeves had to tread carefully. The girl was no longer just a patient or a curiosity. She was a calculated predator, and her innocence was only a mask. Winter turned to early spring, 1869. Dr. Reeves continued his discreet observations of Eliza Harper. Every interaction, every movement, every question she asked was now part of a growing picture. She was calculating, patient, and entirely devoid of normal empathy. Her aunt and uncle remained oblivious. They saw only a polite, obedient child, never suspecting the dark obsession she carried silently. Eliza began testing her influence over others. She would watch her uncle perform chores, noting patterns, weaknesses, and opportunities. When a calf went missing or a fence broke, she was always conveniently present. She would explain herself in her polite, measured tone, but something about her calm certainty unnerved Dr. Reeves. She always seemed to know more than she should. The doctor confronted her again, gently, about the cave and the drawings. "Why do you do this?" he asked. Eliza considered the question carefully. "Because it's interesting. Animals, humans, they all react differently. I want to see. I want to understand. And you're curious too." She smiled for the first time in months, but it wasn't a child's smile. It was the smile of someone who knows secrets no one else can grasp. Then came the final test, the family itself. Eliza began experimenting closer to home. Pigs and chickens showed strange injuries. Minor accidents in the house were too precise to be coincidence. Dr. Reeves began to fear that the aunt and uncle themselves were in danger. He documented every observation, the meticulous way she planned, the precision of her actions, the cold detachment she displayed while others suffered. Neighbors whispered about missing animals, strange patterns in the woods, and the child who always seemed to know too much. Some said the animals feared her. Others said she watched people as if studying a problem she intended to solve, regardless of the cost. The stage was set, the danger was near, and Eliza Harper was already thinking 3 steps ahead. By late spring 1869, Dr. Reeves knew he had little time. Eliza Harper's experiments had escalated. The animals, the accidents, the precise injuries, everything pointed to a mind ready to turn her curiosity on those closest to her. One evening, he asked her to walk with him to the far pasture, away from the aunt and uncle. Alone, he confronted her about the cave, the sketches, and the detailed notes of cruelty. Eliza listened calmly, nodding occasionally, her short hair catching the fading sunlight. "You won't tell anyone," she said. "Why not?" Dr. Reeves asked, voice steady but wary. "Because no one would believe you, and because you're curious about what I'll do next." Her words chilled him. The doctor realized she was untouchable in the eyes of society. An 8 or 9-year-old child accused of calculating death? No court would believe it. No neighbor would suspect it. Dr. Reeves could see it clearly now. Eliza Harper was beyond comprehension. The girl who appeared so polite, so fragile, was a predator in miniature. Her innocence only a mask. He left the farm that night with a heavy heart, knowing the danger was real and time was running out. The Harper household, the small Missouri town, even the surrounding countryside, all were within the sphere of her calculated observation. Eliza's experiments, her detachment, her clinical fascination with death, it was all a precursor to something more terrible, something that the world of 1869 had no framework to understand. The doctor kept meticulous notes, hoping that one day someone would understand, hoping that one day the truth of Eliza Harper, the girl no one could explain, would be recognized for what it was, a dark glimpse into the capacity for calculated cruelty hidden behind innocence. The girl remained at the center of Sedalia's unspoken terror, and for those who had witnessed her precision, there was no forgetting. Eliza Harper vanished into history like a shadow cast over Sedalia, Missouri. What the town remembered, whispered only in quiet corners, was the child who seemed polite, obedient, innocent, and yet wielded a mind that understood cruelty beyond comprehension. Dr. Nathaniel Reeves' journals, sealed for over a century, reveal a disturbing truth. The accidents, the injuries, the deaths, animals and humans alike, were not chance. They were the product of meticulous observation, systematic experimentation, and a calculating detachment that no one expected from a child. From her earliest days on the Harper farm, Eliza displayed a fascination with life, death, and the mechanics in between. She studied reactions, cataloged responses, and planned with a patience and precision that unnerved even the most experienced adult observers. The girl who could recite prayers at church, perform her chores flawlessly, and respond politely to strangers, hid a mind entirely alien to the concept of empathy. Her experiments escalated from insects to small animals, then to humans. Children drowned, elders fell under mysterious circumstances, and all the while she observed. The cave behind the Harper farm became her sanctuary, a laboratory of curiosity and calculated cruelty. Drawings and notes documented the suffering with scientific precision, capturing each detail of anatomy, distress, and the passage of life to death. Dr. Reeves' confrontation revealed a chilling clarity. Eliza understood the impossibility of being stopped. Her innocence shielded her from suspicion. Her polite demeanor masked a predator's mind, one drawn to observe, calculate, and manipulate. She revealed her own intentions calmly, almost proudly, confirming the horrifying truth. The girl had been planning, experimenting, and learning all along. History may have dismissed Eliza Harper as a curious child, a misunderstood orphan, or a ghost story whispered in Sedalia. But the meticulous records left behind tell another story, of a mind that challenged every notion of childhood, morality, and human nature. Eliza Harper's tale remains a haunting reminder. Evil does not always announce itself with fury. Sometimes it hides behind politeness, stillness, and a watchful, unblinking gaze. And when it does, it leaves behind a legacy of fear that lingers far longer than the moment of horror itself.